Have you ever been in this scenario? You have a great idea. You want to show it off to the world. One problem. You can't draw to save your life, and photo editing programs are super confusing. Enter Comic Studio, the easiest way to make comics for all of your favorite franchises. Let's learn how to use it. For the sake of this tutorial, I'll be using the Cookie Run Comic Studio, but there's lots of other comic studios you can use for other fandoms. You can browse through all the available studios by going to comic.studio/studios. When we first get to the specific studio website, everything is in English. If you happen to be more familiar with Korean or Spanish, then you're in luck because you can use either of those languages in addition to English. Changing the language will also show you comics made in that language by other users. Neat! First are these three buttons on the top left. The arrow pointing left is undo, right is redo, and the trash can clears everything. Sorry, desktop users, Control-Z won't work here. You'll have to use the buttons. Let's start with the panels. Click this little panel-looking button to show the paneling controls. The best way to explain this is to honestly just try it out for yourself. The plus button adds more panels, and the minus button removes them. I think I'll go with the 4-panel comic for this demo. Just click on the panel button again to exit the paneling menu. Let's get to adding some cookies. You might think this name bar here is for searching for characters, but it's actually how you name your comic. Your comic's name will show up in the bottom left. Naming is entirely optional, as is everything else, so don't worry if you can't think of anything. To actually search for cookies, we have to click this ginger brave here. For other comic studios, this box should have a similar protagonist or mascot character. By default, you'll see oven break characters here, but if you want kingdom characters, all you have to do is press the kingdom button over here. You'll know you're in the kingdom section because the site's background has changed to blue. For characters that appear in both games, clicking on them will show the sprite sheet from the respective game. You'll have to switch tabs if you want sprites from the menu of the game that you aren't currently selecting. I'm going to start by adding Vampire's base kingdom sprite because I'm predictable. Make sure to click the Show Spoilers toggle if you want to see everything. Now let's get to posing him. You can click and drag a character to put them wherever you want. This plus slider over here controls the size, and this slider over here controls the rotation. These two circle arrows flip your character horizontally across the x-axis. There isn't one for the y-axis because you can do that using the rotation slider. If you decide you don't want a character anymore, you'll have to drag them off the screen or hit the undo button until before you added them, since there's no button to delete them. If you want your character to be in the same place in multiple panels, your best bet is duplicating the panel. Click the Copy Panel button here, select what you want copied, and then select the panel you want to paste it to. Easy! The panel will be duplicated in whatever state it's in, so your best bet is to finish it before pasting. You'll be able to move stuff around on your duplicated panel the same way you could when you created it. Placing backgrounds works the same way as copying panels. If you have trouble, you can use the undo and redo buttons, or just replace the background altogether. Using the plus slider won't work here. If you try it, it'll just change the size of the last character you interacted with. If you decide you don't like your background, you can remove it by using the Remove Background button. Quick sidebar. Every image on the sprite sheet can be right-clicked and opened in a new tab for saving. I end up doing this a lot for my videos since it's quicker to navigate than the wiki or the fan kit. Anyway, back to comicking. If we hit the back button to go to the character select, you might notice something. See this User Submitted Sprites button here? If you click it, you'll get access to, you guessed it, User Submitted Sprites. By the way, there's also User Submitted Backgrounds. Not sure what you'd need these for, but they're here. For whatever reason, user-submitted sprites are also grouped by game the same way official sprites are. So if you found something and can't seem to find it anymore, try checking the other game. As for why this is, I have no idea. You'll have to ask Syrupy, aka the developer of this tool. This user submission separation also carries over to other studios, such as the Danganronpa studio, for instance. If you're looking for something, you can use the search bar over here, but it comes with a bit of a caveat. When submitting sprites to the studio, you have the option to title them. The search bar only searches for titles. There are a lot of sprite groupings that have multiple characters, so you might not find these sprites simply by searching up the character's name. Some people also title their submissions with joke titles, so you may get those too. With an account, which you can create by going to comic.studio, you can favorite submissions so that they'll show up at the top of the user submission category when you click it. Honestly, your best bet for finding sprites is setting aside some time to comb through all the pages one by one and favoriting the ones you like. Tedious, yes, but it'll be worth it if you plan on making lots of comics. One final note about user-submitted sprites. They are approved one at a time by the dev. So if you submitted something ages ago and you still don't see it up, it's probably because Syrupy is a standalone dev with a life outside of maintaining this project. Maybe there'll be a dedicated group of people approving sprites in the future, but for now it is what it is. To get back to the official sprites, just double-click the Ginger Brave icon. If you can't find the sprite you wanted even after all that, but you know you have it in your files, you can use the Custom Sprite button here to insert anything you want. Just try and keep it safe for work. You can now place and position your sprite the same way you position the ones provided by Comic Studio. With all that explained, I'm gonna go finish my comic off screen. See you soon! Okay, now I have a comic, but it's missing something. Text. The text tool is designated by this bubble over here. If you want a speech bubble, you can change the direction of the tail with these arrows here. For text boxes without tails, it'll just change the shading of the box. You'll need to insert your bubble or text box by clicking it before adding any text. Once you've inserted it, type whatever you like. Unlike backgrounds, text bubbles will react to the sliders. Unlike with sprites, however, clicking the flip horizontal button will just change the direction of the tail or the shading. For text bubbles specifically, you can manipulate the position of the tail after placing it by clicking and dragging the tail. There's more info on how you can format your text on the website itself, so I recommend you read that. We've done it! Our comic is finally complete. If you want to save the photo to your camera roll, click Share, click the generated link, and then save the photo however you would like on your device. Alternatively, you can use this down arrow over here, but it acts a bit funny on iPhones. View just doesn't work for some reason, and download will save to your files instead of your camera roll. That should be everything, but what about these buttons up here? You may have clicked them thinking they were used to import or save images, only to find out that they are only compatible with .json files. If you're not a programmer, you've probably never interacted with a JSON file directly. In the context of Comic Studio, you can think of these like instructions. If you export your current comic as a JSON, then reload Comic Studio in a new tab, you can import the JSON file to load the comic into Comic Studio as if you were still editing it. If you're someone who makes comics a lot, you can use this to make presets and save time. Or you can just load a comic you've made already and make a few edits to it. And that's everything. I know that was pretty in-depth, and some of these things might be self-explanatory to some, but I wanted to make a tutorial for those who may have otherwise been intimidated. While you can comment if you have questions, your best bet is to use the links on the bottom of the site to contact Syrupy. Speaking of Syrupy, if you like this video, go give them a follow on their socials. Comic Studio may look clean and polished now, but it took a while to get here. Syrupy has a whole development history on their channel if you're curious. I wish you the best of luck in your comic endeavors. Bye-bye!